Abductors Paradise, the pool of abductors. These are all names that could be used to describe the state of Kenya as it is currently. Why am I saying so? Just the other day, we had this activist by the name Mwabili Mwagodi, who was found dumped at Lungalunga border. This was after he was abducted in Tanzania. Atrocities committed to him, and later on transported and dumped at Lungalunga border. This is not the first case happening. No, we can also remember when Boniface Mwangi was arrested in Tanzania in Serena Hotel, that is in Dar es Salaam. Later on, he was tortured, went through the most heinous acts fellow human being can commit to a fellow human being. Later on, he was also dumped at the border. That is not the only thing. We had a Ugandan by the name, an activist, Agatha Twaire, who was also arrested in Dar es Salaam, and he went through some sexual abuse, Kiza Besije also was abducted here in Kenya, and taken to Uganda, handed over to the Ugandan authorities. There is one thing I want to tell you. In early 90s and even the 80s, during the reign of Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who was a very staunch dictator, people will run to Uganda and Tanzania to seek refuge away from the government of the day. But currently, as we speak, you cannot run into these East African nations for you to seek safety. Because in Kenya, we have William Samoei Ruto. In Uganda, we have Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. In Tanzania, we have Samia Suluhu. And it has turned that all these three regimes are oppressive regimes. They are regimes thriving in abducting and oppressing their critics. They cannot take criticism from the opposition. For instance, in Tanzania, we see Tundu Lissu, the Chadema leader, is in jail, in police custody, being accused of terrorism, being accused of, sabotaging the activities of simply because of saying no reforms, no elections. In Uganda, Kiza Besije, up to date, is in police custody simply for criticizing Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Here in Kenya, the opposition leaders cannot walk freely and hold rallies freely without forcing their way. Just the other day, we saw policemen hurling tear gas and also shooting at close range the vehicles of the DCP leaders with all the intentions of assassinating them, which was a botched plan. Right now, we will be speaking a different story. It's just that Senator Methu survived by her whisker. What is it that these East African governments fear so much about the people? Where has the rule of democracy gone to? It's only a coward who will always fear criticism. I believe that if I take criticism and use it to my advantage, I believe not all criticism should be implemented, but at least sit down and do what we call self-analysis. Evaluate yourself. Get to understand why so and so is feeling this way about me or about my leadership. Why is so and so not in line with the policies that I'm trying to implement? Like in Kenya, the president has had a culture of lying day in, day out. He's become a pathological liar. Literally everything he says, a greater percentage of his words are lies. And what is considered as a lie? Not a promise that is due. A lie is me coming to tell you that I have done this and this. I have allocated this and this. We have done this and this. Yet when we go into statistics, we find completely a different view of the reality as compared to what you as the president was saying. Now, in terms of a promise, if you tell me by such a date I shall have done this and I am sure this shall have happened, then the date is due, not with a day, not with 2 days, not with a week, but by months, and you are showing no signs of even trying to deliver unto the promise, then it automatically turns into a lie, which now we call deception. And deception is what President William Samuel Ruto has been thriving on. So when most of us speak, we find ourselves behind bars because we criticize the government. When we try to invoke Article 37 of the Constitution, we find ourselves being abducted, state sanctioned abductions. Anyway, when we have our own like Boniface Mwangi, Mabili Mogodi abducted up to date, we haven't heard the president speaking about that. All he did was to ask for forgiveness from the Tanzanian authorities. We haven't heard the prime cabinet secretary, who should actually act as the foreign minister, speaking in defense of Kenyans. Not a word from them. So it's like they are playing a game of my enemy. The enemy to my friend is my enemy. So it's like Ruto, Samia, Museveni are friends, and anybody criticizing any of the government in a different country from the presidents, then that person is also abducted in that said country and being delivered to his nation. And after torture, what is it? So it's unity of the presidents against the citizens, against the critics. And we should be quiet. You know what? At the end of the day, we shall all die. If it's death that you think we fear, we shall all die. Time and place and how is what we don't know. But for sure, we know that is the road that we are taking, and we shall remain history. And that is why you could choose to be silent, which is okay. But remember, it happened to somebody somewhere far away. You said it doesn't concern you. It happened to your neighbor. You thought it doesn't concern you. Now it happens to your doorstep. And now you feel like other people should speak about it while you kept quiet. You know, injustice to one is injustice to all. It is one death for all. It doesn't matter where, when, how. Injustice is injustice. Let us speak Let us tell these governments that the clock is ticking and their time is up. What's your take? Talk to me in the comment section about your thought. If you love content of this nature and you're watching from YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Halif is my name for the unscripted talks here in Dub Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Dub Radio ndio mpango mzima.